So I was originally going to start filming this video tomorrow morning. However, after considering the possibility that I am not going to look so good tomorrow morning, I'm going to be tired when I first wake up, and I may not sound clear and concise in my sentences, I feel that that's not going to be an appropriate way to start this video. So I thought better start it when I'm awake and energetic and I'm able to put two and two together to make a sentence. So I know it's been a while since I made my last video, so I'm sorry about that. There just hasn't really been much to film, during this time period. However, tomorrow I think is going to be worthy of filming. So for those of you who don't know, I am a huge fan of baseball, and my favorite team is the New York Yankees. As you can see right behind me, I have a Yankee poster, and all these years are all the years that the Yankees won the World Series. The World Series is the championship of Major League Baseball, which the Yankees have won 27 times, more than any other team in baseball. And with that being said, I love the game of baseball. I grew up playing it and watching it, and it's just been a big part of who I am. And my girlfriend Teresa, who I'm sure many of you remember from my Europe trip vlogs and my camping vlog from earlier this year, she did something incredibly sweet for me. She booked a hotel room in Cooperstown, New York, specifically so we could visit the Baseball Hall of Fame, which is reserved for the greatest baseball players of all time. It's always been a dream of mine to go to the Hall of Fame, and I've always, been fascinated with it. It looks so cool, and I've never visited it in person. I'm 23, so yeah, a lot of years have gone by where I just never really took the initiative to see if I could visit. So Teresa, I really owe you a lot for this one. This is undoubtedly one of the sweetest things anybody has ever done for me, and I owe you a lot for Christmas. I know that, so she'll probably get a kick out of this intro too. But yeah, so the Baseball Hall of Fame is located in Cooperstown, New York. Teresa and I will be leaving tomorrow morning from my house here in Stony Point. We're going to be leaving around 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to drive for 3 hours up. And it's really going to be the furthest either of us have been up into New York. We've mostly only hung out around, this area and New York City, at the lower part of New York. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun, and I'm very excited for this. This is something I've always wanted to do, like I said, and to be able to go with Teresa, it's, very, very cool. And hopefully I don't think there are going to be too many people there either, because this is mostly an event people do during the summertime. But yeah, I'm going to take all of you along with me, so I hope you enjoy. Today's the day. As you can see, I am fitting the mood. When you're visiting the Baseball Hall of Fame, you gotta represent your team. And I'm doing just that. Cannot wait. I am so pumped. Let's do this.
We just stopped for gas. We're on our way to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
So as mentioned, the drive to the Hall of Fame from my house was pretty tough. It's 3 hours, so it was pretty long, and my back started to hurt as we got more and more into the drive, my lower back, that is. However, the roads were very beautiful. We were passing a lot of farmland, and there weren't many cars on the road, luckily, so the drive went by pretty quickly. Plus, having Teresa navigate helped me out a lot, and we listened to a lot of fun music along the way. I forget the name of this town. We just passed a town called Downsville, and we passed
a town called Downsville.
Hello, folks. I can't look at the camera and see. Hi.
I just figured you were talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we passed a town called Downsville, which sounded sad, but it was cute. It's a little rainy, but we made it.
It's not too bad. It's just a little chilly out.
Yeah. Find the place. We're like
coming up shortly.
3 minutes.
Gotta make a turn on Main Street, and then it should be on that street. Our tickets for the Hall of Fame were scheduled for 1 o'clock, but we arrived at around noon, so we had some time to kill before we entered the Hall of Fame. So we decided to walk around a little bit and visited a place that I had never been in person, but I was familiar with. We are in a place called Nikki's Hat Store. I have purchased numerous hats off of them from their online store. They have everything here. This is so cool. This is all Yankee stuff.
I can run over in like 10 with whatever we have.
I like it. That's the old Yankee Stadium. Okay, so we just got done with lunch, and now we are officially entering the Hall of Fame. Sorry, my camera bag was in the way. I'm like carrying a couple of things. This is just the town. All right. And across the street, Baseball Hall of Fame, here we come. This is Cooperstown, New York, folks. Very nice place. Super friendly people so far. Got an ice cream place over there. Cooperstown Beverage Exchange. We have finally made it. 23 years and I'm finally here. National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Luckily it's not too crowded, as you can see, because it's November. This place gets packed during the summer. So the Hall of Fame has 3 floors, and what was unique was that we were recommended to start on the 2nd floor, then go to the 3rd floor, and then finish up at the 1st floor in order to get the best overall experience. The 2nd floor was like walking through a time machine and learning about the earliest days of baseball. A big part of it was a feature known as The Game, which is where many artifacts are on display, such as old uniforms, lockers, and other equipment. This is Lou Gehrig's old locker. He wore that jersey. He wore that cap. Lou Gehrig was known as the Iron Horse due to his versatility and ability to stay on the field at all costs. He was a first baseman for the Yankees from 1923 to 1939. He was one of the greatest baseball players ever and accumulated 2,721 career hits, which was the most ever by a Yankee until 2009. He also set a record for the most consecutive games played at 2,130. That record stood until 1995. Sadly, however, Gehrig's streak, career, and eventually life came to an end when he succumbed to ALS, a disease which is now named after him. He was only 37 years old.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Okay, so we just got done watching a pretty short but really cool film about the history of baseball. And yeah, we're going to continue our tour around the museum. We just stopped for a bathroom break, and I'll continue to show you around. This is an old St. Louis Cardinals uniform. I actually played, when I started Little League, I used to play, my team was called the Cardinals, so yeah. Babe Ruth's uniform. Arguably the greatest baseball player who ever lived. He's an American icon. When it comes to baseball, there is no bigger name in the history of the game than George Herman Babe Ruth, the Sultan of Swat, the King of Crash, the Colossus of Cloud. The guy was mythical, and I'm not just saying that. He practically invented the home run and finished his career with the 3rd most home runs ever in Major League Baseball history with 714. So if the Babe himself is 3rd on the all-time home run list, you may be wondering who's ahead of him. Well, class, the first person in front of Ruth is outfielder Hank Aaron, who finished with 755 career home runs. He broke Ruth's record on April 8, 1974 at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Teresa and I were fortunate enough to see the jersey he wore when he accomplished the historic feat. And in front of both Ruth and Aaron, the Major League home run leader, Barry Bonds, who crushed 762 long balls in his 22 seasons with the Pittsburgh Pirates and San Francisco Giants. He surpassed Aaron on August 7, 2007. The ball that he hit for the record was also on display at the Hall of Fame, and I took this picture of it. As you may notice, it has an asterisk branded on the front. It's supposed to serve as a symbol of Bond's usage of performance-enhancing drugs during the latter part of his career. And it's because of that Bonds has not been elected into the Hall of Fame, and his time is running out. He's only got 2 years left of eligibility. This was George Brett's game-used pine tar bat from July 24th, 1983. This brown stuff right here, that's pine tar, and he used an illegal amount. That's George Brett. He used an illegal amount of pine tar on the bat to hit a go-ahead 2-run home run against the Yankees on July 24th, 1983. And he flipped his lid. This is pretty cool. We got all the player lockers. All the team lockers, I should say. So this is what you see today. As we were looking around this locker room, we came across a mini shrine dedicated to future Hall of Famer Derek Jeter. Jeter was a shortstop and played 20 years for the Yankees from 1995 to 2014 and was one of the best baseball players I personally ever saw. He was the captain for the Yankees and won 5 World Series titles with them, 5 Gold Glove awards, and finished with the most hits in Yankee history and 6th most in Major League Baseball history with 3,465. He may not have been the most naturally gifted ball player, but nobody was as hungry to win as he was. Alright, so we just got done with the 3rd floor here at the Hall of Fame. Pretty cool stuff. Now it's time for the big one, the 1st floor, which is where all the plaques are. So we're going to see the greatest baseball players of all time down on the 1st floor. Should be really cool. I'm really looking forward to it. It's something I've always wanted to see. The Hall of Fame Gallery. Here we are. I am pumped for this. Let's do this. There is no other place in sports that is as sacrosanct as the Baseball Hall of Fame, according to Bowie Kuhn, old MLB commissioner. This is so cool. There he is. Greatest baseball player of all time, Babe Ruth. Ty Cobb. 14. There's Ty Cobb. Second most hits in Major League Baseball history, only behind Pete Rose. Honus Wagner. Walter Johnson, arguably the greatest pitcher of all time. Tris Speaker. Iron Horse himself, Lou Gehrig. One of the greatest of all time. Greatest Yankee first baseman of all time, the heart and soul of the Yankees, really. It's a shame that his career was cut short to ALS. It's a terrible disease.
Oh, yeah.
Cy Young. Joe McCarthy, one of the greatest Yankee managers ever. Arguably the greatest. One of the greatest managers ever. Helped lead the Yankees to the World Series titles in the 50s and 60s, and right below him, Ted Williams, one of the greatest hitters of all time, legendary Red Sox. Last guy to hit 400 in a season. Lawrence Peter Yogi Berra, one of the greatest catcher in the history of the New York Yankees. Whitey Ford, Mickey Mantle, two great Yankees. Louis Stargell, Catfish Hunter, Willie McCovey, Amos Slaughter, Pee Wee Reese, Lou Brock, Harmon Killebrew. This is stacked. Steve Carlton, also of the Phillies. Tom Seaver, Reggie Jackson, Raleigh Fingers, Gaylord Perry, Tony Lazzari, Rod Carew, Joe Morgan and Johnny Bench, the Big Red Machine. There's Jim Palmer of the Orioles, Carl Yastrzemski of the Red Sox. Yeah, these are the guys I grew up watching. Griffey Jr., Mike Piazza, John Smoltz, Randy Johnson, Joe Torre, manager of the Yankees, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, Mariano Rivera, Edgar Martinez, Ward Holiday, my favorite player going up, Mike Messina, and Lee Smith.
We finished the Hall of Fame just as it was about to close. The two of us purchased some hats from the gift shop inside, then went to our hotel, dropped off our stuff, then went back into town for dinner at a place called Cooley's, and followed that up with a picture in front of a little Christmas decoration. It was dark and there wasn't much lighting, so we returned to that spot the following morning and had this picture taken of us. We then got ourselves some Christmas ornaments at a nearby store, then hopped in our car and drove 3 hours back to Stony Point.